So if you didn't know, this is the Morning Wood NFL Sunday here, brought to you by Rumpier Sports.
What up, boys? We're back with the Golf Wars Show, the preeminent golf show on the entire internet.
Huge weekend of baseball coming up. We haven't really had a final week like this in a while where there's so many teams that are still alive.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone! Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby meets Freddie.
They might have the best pass rush in football.
They were adamant about not having a slow start.
How many times have they disappointed us? So I'm having a lot less of this game.
The game is over. The New York Jets are the world champions. Mahomes swings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City! The Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions!
We are picking winners here at Rumpier Sports. I am Statsational with my boy JBC once again on a Friday afternoon where we're going to try and pick some winners here in the NFL. And for the second week in a row, we're doing the show coming off a big upset on Thursday Night Football. Survivor implications, of course, on that game last night. And this one was pretty much an ass whooping. Last week, you could say, all right, the Rams kind of gave them that game. This one was stunned look on the Eagles bench. They got it taken to them a little bit. It's nice to see for Eagle fans. They need to come back down to life here and realize that this team is a lot closer to mediocre than they are to elite, as they were the Super Bowl champions. And the stats of I don't think they've not outgained an opponent yet this season. I think they've lost the yardage battle in every game, which is why you'll see going into this game, and certainly now after this game, I've got them right in the middle of the pack. But before we dive into all that, JBC, how's it going? And how was your Thursday night?
Well, I did have the Giants. Did not think it was going to go like that. I thought it would be pretty low scoring. I was not expecting the Eagles' defense to be that bad. And then the fact that the second half they just didn't score. I don't even know if they got a first down until the end there. That was shocking. I mean, the Giants' defensive line is good, but the Eagles' offensive line has problems. It's a weird thing to say. I'm not typically somebody that would think the Eagles would have problems on the offensive line, but and then you look at that, and then Jalen Carter not playing, and you think about how they were in Week 1 when he didn't play. Is he really that important, where they can't stop anybody without him?
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in Week 1. Now you saw it last night. It's a big struggle. He's obviously a huge factor.
He's a killer, literally.
He's what?
He's a killer, literally.
Yeah, well, we won't get too deep into that, but yes, definitely makes a big difference on that defense. You saw what Dak was able to do Week 1, at least until the weather issues there. And last
the
night,
answer to this is, by the way, is no. Fuck, I got destroyed. 3 1-yard. I was like, if Scadaboo was going to get there, I was thinking, dump offs when they're losing, not 3 1-yard touchdowns and 1 4-yard reception.
I'll say this, and you pointed it out to me before the game that you're like, man, is Scadaboo overpriced? And he really was. I mean, he was overpriced. It doesn't mean, that's the game. You're looking for value. This is what sports betting is. This is what DFS is. Can we find value in a bet? Doesn't necessarily mean that something may not happen. It's just that based on whatever the price is and whatever game that we're playing,
DPI
will it happen often enough to justify the price?
DPI in the end zone to get the 1-yard touchdown at the end. I was like, all right, fuck this. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then he gets stuffed and they give it to him again. Like, it was nonstop.
Yeah. The one thing you get with Scadaboo is, look, he's obviously been a bit of a spark plug here for this team, as Dart seems
Well,
to
I
be.
I was worried he wasn't going to get as many carries because he gave the game away last week.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't respond to you what I was thinking. I didn't reply in our chat, but I was thinking that I'm like he's such an emotional leader that I don't, you just don't want to take him out of the lineup. It's going to have to be a lot more than just that one game of fumbles. Typically, I agree. A lot of coaches, especially a rookie, you kind of fumble the game away or make fumble in a bad spot. They're going to put you on the bench. But I think he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy not to root for. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm in that same division, but he's a tough guy not to root for when you get the little guy who just runs as hard as he does. I brought up Pacheco before, who's not really a little guy, but as a football fan, you love watching those guys full of emotion and just will literally run through a brick wall. He seemingly looks like that guy. And it's a huge boost to the team. You saw the opposite on that Philadelphia sideline where they were basically getting punched in the mouth and their will was taken away from them. And that is in a physical sport. You get mixed martial arts sports, boxing, anything like that. You could take the will from your opponent. It looked like to me that's what they did. I've been in that, I certainly haven't played professionally, but I've been on both ends of that. And it's not a good feeling when the other teams just got that emotion, they're fired up, and they're basically kicking you in the teeth, and you can't do anything about it.
Are you, Boynton's asking?
Yeah, we were just discussing this. Yeah, this was I think it's kind of soccer-ish.
First thing I said when he hopped in was, "What the fuck are you wearing?" and he's about to go biking, which then it makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm not going to wear this out of the house though. It's way too tight around the midsection. But this was a Christmas gift.
But that's the thing. That's the whole point of biking when you're fat is that you wear the tight shit because you can't wear it otherwise.
Yeah. So I just started getting the bike out again. I blew the dust off it. It's been like 2 weeks. I try to get out almost every day if I get to the gym and then go on and then I see people on the trail who shouldn't be leaving the house, let alone wearing the bike outfits that they're wearing. I'm like, I don't need to be aerodynamic. I'm just trying to get a little exercise.
If you're not Lance Armstrong, you're gonna look fat in a bike.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I need to be, it's meant to be aerodynamic. Like I don't go swimming and wear like the full bodysuit so I could be faster in the pool. Like I'm just going to get a little sun and maybe a couple of laps in the pool. That's about it. So yeah, I don't get, especially the big the guys built like me wearing bike outfits. It's not the most flattering of outfits to wear. So yeah, typically if I leave the house, it's gonna be a little bit more baggy. But thank you, Boynton, for noticing my bib.
Yeah. No, I was thinking it was a soccer jersey at first.
It's more, it's soccer.
It is like a soccer jersey.
I didn't buy it. Let's put it. So this is my mother's got me ever since I'm a kid. With
like your mommy's buying you that.
Yeah,
shirt?
Exactly. Ever since I was a kid, my mom buying like stuff that
is not flattering because she thinks
like terrible sneak. I used to get I had Patrick Ewing sneakers like when I was in high school that my mom bought these 33s. I don't even know what brand they were at what shoe manufacturer. But I caught more crap because they were just the ugliest high tops of all time. And like everyone else is wearing Jordans. And my mom's like, well, he's a Knicks fan. I'm going to get him the Patrick Ewings. And
the $10 Ewings.
What was that?
The $10 Ewings.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they were, but we didn't exactly have money to spend on this stuff. So you got a pair of sneakers. That was it. You had to wear them until you couldn't fit in them anymore. And so I was forced to wear those stupid things and get made fun of all the time. But yeah, so my mom's not the best at buying clothing. Yeah. So yeah, I typically dress myself, but this one was in the. I kind of like.
You're not the best with casual wear. You're more of a formal wear guy.
Well, formal wear these days is a whole lot different than formal wear.
Right, but I'm saying like you look pretty good in a suit.
Yeah, because you get the suit custom fit. Yeah. So anyone could look good in a suit if you get a custom fit.
Except for unless you're like really jacked. Like John Cena looks fucking weird in a suit.
He looks you are 100% correct about that. He looks
You can't be too jacked. If you're too jacked, you look ridiculous.
Yeah, well, there's no that's why I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to do the Hulk Hogan and start cutting the sleeves off my suits. Because I'm going to look stupid in my suits if I keep going to the gym every day. Yeah, the Hogan look was definitely the move.
The most obscene thing that you've done regarding the gym is when I was down there, we went and you had 2 jalapeno margaritas or some shit at lunch, and then you went to the gym after having the margaritas. That was psychotic.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think much of it because alcohol goes with everything.
Right. The gym.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, how else are you going to offset what you just did by having? I mean, it was just like 2. It wasn't like I was really drinking. I was just having. That's like drinking iced tea.
Right.
You know. So, but anyway, let's get to what everyone's here for. They don't want to listen to fashion advice.
No, they're here for the shirt.
Well, the shirt. Listen, it pops. It pops. I get it. And off the black backdrop, it really looks good. But now I'm reading the Boynton Need More Stats YouTube thumbnails. You know,
you do need more stats YouTube thumbnails.
They are good.
Of you being like,
I got a good one out today. I actually posted one today, and
now
I do it with you in mind. And yeah, it's really it's good. It's good. Hey, I don't make the algorithm. I didn't invent the algorithm.
No, but it's funny. It's funny.
But they're like, hey, if you put your picture out there, more people are going to watch it.
Right.
So I don't think it's true, but I guess it might be. Anyway, let's get to these games, man. We got talked about last night. It's always fun when the Eagles lose for me. But we got another international game this week. So we got a 9:30 a.m. Hate these 9:30 a.m. games, but we do get
8:30 for me.
Really, because yeah, we're busy. Like that's, you know, we're busy trying to make these lineups and do the work that we have to do.
Dude, oh my God. Last week it was at 6:30. I was still in the strip club.
Yeah, I'm aware because we were trying to track you down and it was very hard to find you at that point.
When the game started.
Well, at least you were at a location where you could watch the game.
That's true.
You know, so that was nice. Speaking of location to watch the game, I messaged you last night. I don't tell people when I go out like what I do for a living because it's bad enough that everyone wants to show me their SGP that makes no sense, but they won with it. And so I stay really quiet. I just want to go out and watch the game. Like if there's multiple games on, I like to go to the bar, watch the baseball game, watch the football game. I mean, everyone is betting. And I feel I certainly am not going to teach anyone what EV is sitting on a bar stool when they're 4 pitchers deep. But boy, I do feel like when we do these shows, hopefully we could get people to just be a little sharper and think a little bit better. Look, most people want to have some fun. You want to have a little action on the game, and I totally get that. I did that for a good chunk of my life. But if you're watching this, hopefully we can give you a little bit of insight, not necessarily on who's going to win the games, but on
how to identify who's going to win the game.
Yeah, on the methods and being a little bit smarter in what we're doing. So let's dive into this. The first game. We've got Denver. Here's one, you know, with the Survivor show that I do, I get questions on this in Survivor, which is just pick a winner. Hey, does it change if we've got a team, you know, we've got teams playing in Europe?
Jeremy Kurt, it's really not that fun. It's not.
Yeah, well, it's not fun for you because you have as much, if not more, knowledge than I do. But
it was fun for me at first.
Well, that is true. In the beginning,
it was a Mr. Miyagi situation, and now I'm Mr. Miyagi.
Well, let's talk about that for one quick second. When I love to teach. I love helping people. I love to teach. When it comes to sports betting, there's so many people who, especially if they know sports, or at least they think they know sports, they watch sports their whole life, that really don't want to learn.
Nope.
Like you came at it, you were pretty much right out of school. You were trying to become a professional sports bettor. You were out in Vegas. But from your first email that you ever sent me, I knew that you knew. You may not have been an expert, but you knew a whole lot more than the average person. You just knew. First of all,
my background is statistics, so that's right.
Yeah, and you were reverse engineering half the stuff I was doing, and I'm like, well, this guy's pretty sharp, and so you knew that, right? So it was much more enjoyable to teach you, and then consequently, you know, when you teach, you learn as well, and then you've obviously become extremely successful, and I've learned a ton from you. So I enjoy those kind of relationships, but what you often see is people don't actually want help. What they want is you to tell them what parlay they could play, that they could bet $10 to win 10,000 tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, well, if I had that answer, I'd win $10,000 every Saturday and Sunday on these games, right? But that's really what most people want. They don't want to actually get better. So hopefully, I think a lot of the people watching the show actually are in that other camp where they do want to get better and learn how to become a smarter DFS player. That's why they're with us at RPS. So, but let's dive into this game. We got the international game. It's Denver at the Jets. 7.5 at some books. You can get 7 at quite a few other ones. DraftKings got this one at 7.5. 43.5 is the total. Jets, I mean, are they the worst team in the league? They have not looked good. I don't know if they're the worst team in the league, but they certainly have an argument. There could be an argument made here. Denver's coming off a really nice win. And of course, after last night's game, maybe people are thinking not as good a win, but that's still a pretty quality win on the road last week for Denver. 7.5 point spread. A little bit of a kind of do they regress here? Do they play a team subpar off a big win and have a little letdown, or do they just roll the Jets here at the 7.5?
I mean, you talked about the Eagles losing their will. I'm kind of worried about that with the Jets. You see a lot of infighting. Aaron Glenn bashing everybody. I don't like what I'm getting from them as far as like a team that's going to go out there and fight as an underdog. I mean, I guess they went out in the fourth quarter and put up a bunch of points. I've got no faith in the Jets defense right now, like whatsoever. And before the season, I didn't think they were going to be that bad. But you see Sauce Gardner getting beat deep. You're like, okay, something's fucking going on. I just, they're a mess from the top down. And I think that Aaron Glenn maybe was a product of Detroit rather than an actual good coach. And it may have been a mistake to hire him because it's not looking good over there. So I like Denver and I like the over. I think that Denver puts up 30.
Yeah, I mean, you know my take on these coaching hires. I mean, there's no sort of creativity or originality when it comes to these owners. It's like, okay, who's the best team? Let's just go there and poach
the coordinators.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the players. Let's just take their coordinators, and those are going to be.
Here would be something original. Go to the Rams and offer Sean McVay $30 million. You can. You're a billionaire, and there's no salary cap for coaches.
Yeah.
Like,
I've always said, and I'm much rather the Tomlin. I think I talk about Tomlin on every show because I just love the guy and what he's done. But just give me that guy. Give me the CEO.
Dude, him and Harbaugh have been doing it so long.
But I'll pay McVay $30 million to call plays. Right?
Well,
I don't want.
He's going to want to be the coach, though. Oh, it's like Andy Reid. Like
I get that. No. I get that. But what I'm saying is, I'd much rather have a guy who's going to be overseeing the team, and everyone's got aspirations to be the head coach. We get that. But I'd rather pay head coach money to get two of the best coordinators and then have someone who is just capable of managing the whole thing.
Well, this isn't. I mean, this is obviously college that I'm going to refer to, but you saw Clemson had that long stretch of success, and Dabo is a fucking idiot and knows nothing about football. But they were paying their coordinators as much as Dabo, and that's what was going on. They were winning because of the coordinators, and it's like. You could do the same thing in the NFL. And I mean, you saw, they always show that graphic of when Washington back when they were good, when Shanahan was the coach, and how like every single coordinator is like a head coach now. It's like, you just have to find those guys and find a guy at the top that can command the respect of the rest of them. And that's what Tomlin does so well.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. As far as this game goes, yeah, I agree. I think they nailed it on actually the price here. I think 7 is about where the line should be. I even think the 43. Did you give us
I like the over.
You like I like this one. Well, you like Denver to score a lot of points in this.
Well, I think the Jets can move the ball too. Like if I have to have more faith in the offense or the defense, I have more faith in the Jets offense.
Yeah, well, especially if they get in that situation that they did last week where they were just getting destroyed. Now that was against a much weaker defense with Dallas, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a strong lean either side on this game because I think they really priced it well. I think 43 is the right price. I think 7 is about the right line. I don't love laying 7.5 here, but I have a hard time betting the Jets. And I think if you do have any turmoil going on that team, I don't know if necessarily making a trip out to Europe helps you. It's like a nice vacation, and it's like, hey, maybe our season's done, and maybe we'll just enjoy seeing the sights out in.
The Brees Hall is probably living it up right now.
He might be. Listen, I got him on my season-long team, and I keep getting injuries left and right, so I need him to step up here. I don't know if he knows that.
Like, if you're the punter for the Jets, what are you doing right now?
Punter for the Jets? I'm drinking right now, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing golf and drinking.
I'm like blacked out if I'm the punter for the Jets right now.
Yeah. Well, at least I mean, you're getting a high volume of snaps as the punter, so you're auditioning for. If you do well, it might help you salary wise. But yeah, as far as this game goes, my lean's going to be Denver as well. I just can't trust the Jets right now, and I think that number's right on the mark, 43. But if I had to pick a side, I would take this one to the over. All right, let's jump over to Jacksonville with a impressive start to the season. Really strong game on Monday Night Football, being able to beat the Chiefs. I don't care really how poorly maybe the Chiefs have played on the whole so far this year. That's a really good win for Jacksonville. Seattle at home kind of looked like they had Tampa, kind of dead to rights, and they let Tampa get back in that game. A lot of offense in that one. So Seattle now has to travel about as far as a trip as they'll make, unless they went down to Miami, within the confines of the continental United States. Jacksonville's going to be favored in this one by 1.5. Basically, they're telling you here that Seattle is slightly better on a neutral field than Jacksonville. And I don't know if you agree with that or not. 47.5 is the total. DraftKings, if you lay the 1.5 with Jacksonville, you're actually getting plus money. You're getting the plus.
I was going to say it's picked most places.
Yeah. So you get a little plus money on the -1.5. -1. Well, a lot of places have it -1 at -105, which is essentially a pick'em line. And then, like I said, 47.5 on the total. What do you think here, Jacksonville and Seattle?
So, these teams, I think, are both very, very, very good on offense. Jacksonville especially has impressed me a lot this year with how the offense has played. I've been on them in the vast majority of their games. Coming in, I thought Liam Cohen would have a pretty positive effect on Lawrence, and it seems to be the case, although not Brian Thomas Jr. Although he did pick it up a little bit last week. I think that these teams are going to score. My favorite bet in the game is the over. I think it'll be exactly like that Bucs Seattle game. But if I had to put more faith in one of their defenses, I think Seattle's defense with Mike McDonald is substantially better than Jacksonville's. So, gun to my head, I like Seattle to win this game.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, actually, on both sides. I don't know if Seattle's defense is substantially better, but I do agree they are the better side here. But I was going to say the same thing you did. I could see a very similar type of game to that Tampa game last week with Seattle. I think we get a lot of points. So I think the strongest side of this game is to the over. I like both of these offenses a whole lot more than I like their defenses here. I think the 47.5 is a little light. I would have thought this number closer to maybe like a 49.5. So I think we're getting a couple of points of value on the total. I like this game to go over. And if I had to take a side, I do think Seattle would be my favorite play, or the play I favor, or the side that I favor in this one. So I'm in agreement there with you. All right, let's head down to Indianapolis. The Cardinals are in Indy, and I mean, I don't even know what to say about that Arizona game last week. That's one of the all-timers. A lot of Survivor people not thrilled with that one. Look, that was in large Survivor pools. I mean, that was an obvious play because of the fact that this is the last time. Last week was the last time you would take Arizona. A lot of people were bailed out by the fact that they took Arizona either week 1 or 2. Arizona has started off with a really cake schedule. They should have won that game last week, and now the more difficult part of their schedule, which is the remainder, is coming up here. Indianapolis. We keep saying it every week. I mean, is this the surprise team of the year? My rankings have them right now as the number 1 team in the league, and I don't know if they are, but statistically right now they're showing to be the best team in football. Touchdown favored here. Colts hosting the Cardinals, 47.5 again on the total. Just laying -102 over on DraftKings to that over. What do you like here, Colts and Cardinals?
That loss last week for the Cardinals, that's the type of thing that could break a team's back as far as, like if you're on the team, right? And, obviously we talk about how guys are always going to try as hard as they can on Sundays. Like there's no throwing games. There's none of that. But like, if you are on the Cardinals, you go into practice on Tuesday, you're looking at that film, you're doing your work. How is your mind locked in? Like after that happened, like how are you locked in? Like I would be just spacing out, like not even thinking about the fuck is going on. And then you're going to Indianapolis, who has just been running it up on everyone. I just don't see how Arizona stays in this game. I think they're going to get beat on both sides of the ball. I like Indy and I like under. I think they just beat their ass.
Yeah, look, I think you make a good point. When you look at, it's not like that was totally unheard of for Arizona and a total shock. I mean, the fact that the
way it happened
was a shock. Yeah, the way it happened was certainly a shock. But when you look at what they did in the Carolina game.
Yeah, it was the exact same thing.
It was the exact same thing, except Carolina they needed a touchdown there, and they just couldn't get it. And the Carolina offense just was not really good enough there. And for all intents and purposes, Arizona stopped Tennessee, and they fumbled the interception, which is remarkable. But they were in a similar situation against San Francisco. They get that safety late in that game. They just need to get the first down and ice that win. They don't get it. San Francisco comes down, kicks a field goal, beats them.
Arizona could have won all their games.
Could have won all of them. This is I think when, to your point, how do you recover from a game like last week's game? I'd
rather lose 50-0.
Of course. But when you had a situation like you had in Carolina, where you basically you let Carolina get back in that game, a much inferior team, and then you do it with Tennessee and actually lose the game, I think that's an internal problem.
It's coaching. It's coaching.
Yeah. And a lot of it manifested with his reaction. I get the frustration. But I think that reaction, you lose a lot of respect from the players with the reaction that he had there.
To Dean Mercado, that was awful.
Yeah, I was hoping that it was one of those like kind of pep talk sort of things,
right.
Until you get like, hey, don't, football, you're going to pound the guy on the shoulder pads. Like, don't worry about it. We got you. But hit him in the pad. That didn't seem to be what it was. It was
he got fined.
I know he got $100,000 fine. But if that was the case, like, hey, you could scream and yell, but be in a supportive way. That doesn't seem to be the case.
Like DeMercado knows he fucked up.
Yeah,
like you don't need to jam at home.
Like I said, I've coached kids, and obviously these aren't kids. But when you make a screw up as badly as that, you never want to yell because it's so obvious.
The other players all saw it. I think that like contributed to what happened afterward.
I agree. I think it's a bad situation there. And one thing in football, like you said, teams don't tank, but when you need to have that leader. I'm going to go back to Mike Tomlin. They will do anything for Mike Tomlin. They love that guy, right? And you need that. Football is a vicious sport, and you need to play with that scatterboot type of aggression,
yes.
Right? It's contagious, and it's contagious in both directions. I think this is a bad situation for the Cardinals.
DeMercado is, like you're talking about, you coach kids. DeMercado is a grown-ass man with millions of dollars, and you sat there and emasculated him in front of millions of people as if he already wasn't embarrassed enough.
Yeah,
look, he knows he screwed up. The rest of them nobody's going to respect you after that.
No, we all wanted, if you took Arizona in a survivor pool, like we all wanted to punch DeMercado in the face. I mean, we all,
right.
But when you're a coach, if you've ever been in that situation, there's times where the screw up is so bad and the player feels so awful that you are not helping the situation. This is not the Woody Hayes days.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, or you got to be support. Like, hey, look, deep down, you wish you didn't do it. You're pissed off beyond belief. But when you're a team, you've got to be supportive of your team. You can yell.
You're still probably going to win the game. Just let it go.
That's right.
For the time being. You can make fun of them when you're looking at it on tape, not on television.
After you won the game. Yeah. But on the side, that I think has hurt the team. I agree with you there. But boy, to do that, especially after a week where the Colts did that and lost a game with Mitchell doing the same exact thing the week prior, you would think the word would be out in the league. I mean, this happens every year, but to happen in back-to-back weeks is remarkable. Run the damn ball through the end zone. Do whatever you want to do 40 backflips, but can we do it 5 yards into the end zone and not on the one? Hopefully these guys learn their lesson, but I'm with you on this one. I think the Cardinals might be in for a bit of a tailspin. Had a super soft schedule to start the year. It's getting more difficult now. I think the Colts are one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the league, if not even better than that. I think the Colts roll them here. The total, do you have an idea on the total? Which way you like?
I think it's going to go under. I don't think Arizona's going to score.
I like the under as well. I agree with you. I think the defensive unit for the Cardinals is better than their offense. I will take this one to the under. All right, Baltimore. Man, we saw Baltimore without Lamar Jackson is not quite even remotely close to the same team. Shows you the value of Lamar Jackson. They're hosting the Rams here. 7.5 point spread, 44.5 on the total. We looked at last week. What was I think it was it last week? What was the first week? No, 2 weeks ago, right? Was the first week without Lamar? And that was
last week.
It was last
Lamar
week.
sat only the fourth quarter the week before.
That's right. So it was last week, and that was a 9 point. I think they've now adjusted to even more. I think it was like a 9 point adjustment for Lamar. I mean, it's starting to. I think I texted you during the game. I'm like, this might be a 14 point adjustment.
I was going to say, so the Rams are 7.5 with Lamar. This is probably a 4 to Baltimore.
Right. I think it's about an 11 point swing here that they're anticipating. And I don't know if it's enough. But go ahead. What's your take on this game?
I don't think it's enough either. I think it's going to be the exact same thing that happened last week. I bet Houston huge last week. Rams and under. I think it's same rate as the Indy game. Beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, I think typically when you get a starting quarterback out, the overreaction is to the quarterback being out. You wind up getting more points than you should, I think, more often than not. But you're in a rare situation here where I think I don't know. I mean, a lot of people obviously know
built around him.
What's up?
The whole team is built around him.
That's it. You're right. You have no defense, right? So he's basically – this team was struggling before Lamar got hurt. They couldn't stop anyone. But I even said it to, before we thought he was going to get hurt. I said if they lose this Kansas City game, I like them before the Kansas City game to take them as a team to win the AFC and the Super Bowl. I thought the bets were good there. Obviously, once Lamar went down –
they're still favored to win the division right now.
Yeah, well, you're going to have Lamar there. With Lamar, I still love this team. I love I just don't know when he's coming back. Hopefully next week we'll see him back on the field. But because they should be able to run the table when he's back. Right,
but the Steelers may have a 4-game lead by the time he's back.
Yes. There goes Tomlin again. It's like
it's always Tomlin. The answer's always Tomlin.
He figures out a way to win.
It will never make sense, and it's always going to work.
Exactly. They'll figure out a way. And you look at this. I think it's the large. I mean, this is the largest. I can't remember of a larger differential in the point spread and what the adjustment is between a starter and a backup quarterback. This is the largest one I can remember.
With Lamar Jackson, you're talking about that statistically, the greatest quarterback of all time passing and the greatest quarterback of all time rushing, and it's the same guy.
By the way, you talk about 100%. It's just so you are realizing just how difficult it is to stop Lamar Jackson when
Lamar is the fact that he has the highest quarterback rating in history is mind-boggling.
I didn't know that. You told me that a couple of weeks ago, and
mind-boggling.
I brought it up. I just talk about the bar. Of course, people, however he came up, and I said, and I brought that up. I said because of course someone was knocking him at the bar. He's not as good. They were just talking about the best quarterbacks in the league right now. The argument is Baker Mayfield a top 5 quarterback in the league? And I was just rattling off the best. I'm like, all right, well, let's see who are the best quarterbacks. I said Lamar, and one guy was like, well, Lamar's not playing right now. I'm like, oh, all right, well, he's not playing this week, but I'm going to still count him in the league. And then someone else was like, Lamar's not that good. I said, well, he's not that good a passer. He said. I said, well, he's got the highest quarterback rating in the history of football. Well, that's not what I'm watching when I watch the games. I'm like, well, what are you watching?
Cool.
Yeah. These are the same people that are putting in their,
SGPs,
and at just a ridiculous and just getting killed on the VIG and thinking it's smart. But anyway, yeah, I agree with you. I still think they're undervalued. I think this should be maybe even a 14-point value here on Lamar. They jacked it up pretty quick. They went from 9 to like 11, I think, this week. And we may see that have to move up. We saw this situation with Rodgers a few years ago when he was out. I think they started him off around maybe 6 points, 7 points, and it wound up finishing. He was worth about 9 points at that time with the Packers. I think we might wind up seeing that here with Lamar, although if he's back next week, we won't maybe get the have to fully see it go to 14. But I think still at 11, a little light on what they are valuing Lamar at. All right, talk about Pittsburgh. Let's head there now. Pittsburgh's hosting Cleveland. The line here, 5.5, 38.5, 37.5 actually at DraftKings, 38.5 over on most other books. So you're getting a little shorter, a little lower total on the 37.5 at DraftKings, minus 115 to the over. Pittsburgh just finds a way. You've got what you're always worried about here with Cleveland, if you're going against them, is how good that defense is. Tomlin has been excellent, small sample size, of course, but he's been great here against rookie quarterbacks in his career. Of course, he's been favored in most of those games, which they don't tell you. But oddly enough, the two of the losses that he's had, or out of the 6, I think he's lost 6 times. I think he's like something like 26-6 straight up against rookie quarterbacks. 2 of those times were against the Browns.
Well, I mean, the Browns have started a lot of rookie.
I said, yeah, they got a lot more opportunities because once a year you're playing a rookie quarterback with the Browns. Right? So they do get a lot more opportunities. But what do you think here? Pittsburgh as a favorite at home against the Browns.
Typically this would be a spot like the Browns, but Pittsburgh coming off of the bye week, I think is pretty nice. The Browns having to come back over from London. It does not scream good spot for the Browns to me. So, I think that the Browns, their defense may be a little tired. Pittsburgh going to be a little more enthusiastic than they would be on a normal schedule. I like Pittsburgh and I like the over.
All right. Well, we're going to be on different sides here for the first time. So I'm going to go with the Browns in this one. I still think the Browns defense will be the best unit on the field in this matchup. So I do think they keep this game tight. I like it to go under, which gives me more confidence here on the dog. So I like the Browns defense to be able to hold the Steelers down to maybe keep this game in the teens for both teams. I like this one to go under, and I'll take the points. I'll take the 5.5, even 6 at some books, and take the dog. All right, Dallas is at Carolina.
Our teams are playing each other.
They are, yeah, they are playing each other, and they both suck, which is nice.
No, Dallas is 3-2. Hey,
Dallas,
also,
Dallas can still make the play. Dallas can still be a playoff.
The Panthers have the same
there's no
record
great.
as the Chiefs.
One thing about this league is there are no great teams right now.
The Panthers have the same record as the Chiefs, John,
and they have a better record than Baltimore.
Yes.
So yes, but I'll go back to my original point. These are 2 bad teams. I don't care what the records say, but obviously the Cowboys are a little less bad. Statistically speaking here than Carolina. They're going to be the favorites on the road. 49.5, big total in this one, and a 3-point spread. You can get over at DraftKings, you can take Carolina with no juice at the +3. What do you like here? Your boys against mine.
I think Dallas a little overinflated after that big win last week. I think this is a coin flip game. I think these teams are going to go up and down the field. I think it's going over. 49 seems low for a Dallas game. Carolina has been moderately competent on offense and pretty bad on defense. So in a situation like that, I'll always take the underdog as well. So I would go with the over, and I think Carolina money line would be the way that I would play that.
So you like Carolina on the money line.
And then the over, yeah.
See what we got. As my line on this one is, so oddly enough, and I like the same side as you. I like Carolina. I just wanted to check where my number had this line. My number's actually got Carolina as the favorite should be the favorite in this game. And it sounds like
it's inflated because of what happened in Dallas last week. Like how
Correct.
they just beat the shit out of the Jets.
Which is a worse team than this Carolina team.
Right.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. This is back-to-back weeks now. The Dallas is a road favorite. I thought it was maybe justified last week. This week, I get it. I get the number, and I get that the public is going to like Dallas here, especially coming off that win. Carolina. I do think Carolina's a bit better than maybe we anticipated going into the season. I'm still not a huge Bryce Young fan. I think there will be points. Look, this Dallas defense still cannot stop anyone.
Well, clearly, we can fucking run the ball.
Who's it? Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they'll be able to run the ball with ease against this defense. So I think that's going to be. And you saw big numbers last week running the ball. I think they'll be able to do that again. I have a hard time betting unders in these Cowboy games. You saw even last week just getting up by a lot. They're certainly not going to be able to hold anyone down for long periods of time. I'm going to take Carolina plus the points. I think they should be favored in this one. I don't love the total, but I will take it to the over. All right, let's head to New Orleans, where the Saints hosting New England. Another one of those teams with the big upset last week, knocking out a bunch of survivor picks. New England was able to knock off Buffalo on that Sunday night game. I thought they really, Buffalo played, made some errors, but a lot of those games, like that Ram game on the Thursday night Ram game, I felt like the Rams were going to come back and win the game. They didn't. They made some mistakes down the line, but they played well enough.
Buffalo, I was pretty sure was going to lose the whole time.
I thought so too. I said in game,
we were literally, Boynton will tell you this. We're sitting in the sports book at Durango, and I said to Boynton, I was just kept telling him to live bet New England money line.
Exactly.
Live bet New England money line. Live bet New England money line. Live bet New England money line.
Yeah, and a lot of we share a brain with a lot of things, and I'm sitting there going, I wasn't messaging with you because I knew you were out in Vegas having a good time, and I'm thinking, boy, the entire world is going to be betting Buffalo halftime. Oh, Buffalo's not going to lose this game, and I'm like, if you're watching this game, they are losing. Like they're going to lose this game.
They're getting beat.
They're getting beat. Exactly right. It's not a situation where Arizona beat themselves last week or the Rams really beat themselves in that game. I'm like, boy, New England is beating them, and similar to Philly, you look at my numbers, and early in the year, these numbers are going to fluctuate a lot because we just don't have enough games and sample size. But you've got to take a with a grain of salt the numbers that I put, and this is not me. I'm not skewing them. I'm just putting the stats into a spreadsheet, and it spits out what the rankings are. Buffalo is not. I don't know where I have them ranked now. I just updated it with
the fact that they couldn't run the ball made them useless against New England.
Exactly. So that was not. As I was watching that game, I was having less and less confidence. Like I said, I think a lot of people at halftime said, they'll probably, Buffalo's going to win this game. I never felt good about Buffalo winning that game at all. So I don't have Buffalo ranked in the, Buffalo's now down in that Philly range. They're in the middle of the pack range, despite being 4-1. Statistically, they just have not played as well as you may.
And New England threw the Raider game away, and they threw away the Steeler game. New England could have won all their games.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. New England, look, I was not big on New England. Neither were you coming into the year. I think this New England team is a lot closer. Look, if they play the Buffalo game again, they're still going to be an underdog. It won't be
another coach that the players respect.
Yes. And that's a guy who did a lot with the little in Tennessee. Yeah.
And it's like we all say, Vrabel's an idiot, but the players respect him.
100%. 100%. So I think he does get the most out of the guys that he has on that team. So what do you think here in the matchup this week? Because now you've got a New Orleans team. They're getting 3.5 points at home to this New England team coming off that big win. 46.5 over on DraftKings, the over -105. New Orleans we've talked about New Orleans. Look, they've really played their asses off in most of these games. They got blown out in Seattle, but outside of that, they've really played hard. They get fortunate with some turnovers against the Giants, or maybe they lose that game, but teams of lesser quality are going to have to win that turnover battle to win these games. What do you think here with New England on the road coming off a huge win, the biggest win that they've had probably in the last few seasons, at a New Orleans team that is kind of bottom of the barrel?
Dude, Spencer Rattler has been middle of the road this year. Like if you look at most of the peripheral statistics, he's right in the middle. Like he has not been bad whatsoever. And honestly, I think I've had the exact same bet every single week on every New Orleans game. I like New Orleans. I like the over. I think their offense is pretty competent. The defense is mediocre to bad, but 3.5 at home, give me that all day. I like the Saints and the over.
Yeah, we've kind of been on the same with that quite a few of these times. I do like I like the Saints in this one as well. I think we're going to get maybe a little bit of a letdown coming off one of the biggest wins they've had in a long time. I think the market, of
not
course,
an easy place to travel either.
Not an easy place to play in. That place will be fired up. I think 3.5, especially here, getting that hook is important. I like the 3.5 with the Saints at home. I'm gonna take that home dog. 46. You like the total at all? 46.5.
Yeah, over. Every New Orleans game I've liked over.
I like the over. Yeah, I like the over as well. I'll take. I'll be in agreement with you on that one. But for me, the New Orleans side is the stronger side of this game. All right, we'll head down to Miami, where Miami is hosting the Chargers. Long trip here for the Chargers. Made a lot of long trips, it seems like, this season, which the West Coast teams tend to do. But down to Miami, 4.5 is the spread. The Chargers are laying it. Another road favorite. 44.5 minus 102 to the over on DraftKings. What do you think here with Miami hosting the Chargers, who have been disappointing now 2 weeks in a row?
The Chargers, it's not disappointing is the wrong word. They're dead. They're physically. They, both tackles with the knee or the patella or the Achilles, backup tackle, both starting running back, backup running back. They just, on offense, they're just totally, they've got, nobody's healthy. They're screwed. And I think that the market hasn't caught up yet. We saw how poorly they performed against the Giants offensive line. The same fucking thing happened last week. I know how good Herbert is, but if you have nobody to block, nobody to run, what are you going to do? And you're giving me points. It's just going to be fading the Chargers and betting the under every game until the market catches up. So I like Miami and under.
All right, we're gonna disagree on this one. I'm gonna take the Chargers. I'll be the sucker here. I'll get back. I'll get on the Chargers once again. We'll see. I like this situation of them having 2 bad games in a row. I think the market has adjusted, and I think a lot of people are going to be getting off of the Chargers. Maybe the fact that they're playing Miami, a team that a lot of people are not very high on, may subdue a little bit of that overreaction. But I like the Chargers here. I still think they're the better team. I think they will be able to move the ball against this Miami offense. Can they stop Miami's or Miami defense, I should say? Can they stop the Miami offense? I think maybe a little bit of a question, but total of 44.5. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think they cover the 4.5, and then on the total, I like this one to go over. I think the Chargers offense will be improved here, and I think Miami will be able to get some points on the board to get this one to the over. So a little disagreement from us on that one. All right, head to the 4:00 games. Vegas. There's another team, kind of looks like a team in turmoil, playing a Titan team that we talked extensively about how maybe undeserving of that win they were. They still have not looked good. No win last week. This Vegas team desperately needs to get it right. I think we'll find out this week if this team is kind of quitting or if they're going to at least attempt to turn it around. But they're laying 4.5 to the Titans. 41.5 is your total. You're laying a little bit of juice here, minus 112, 41.5 over on DraftKings to the over. 4.5 line. What do you think with Vegas hosting the Titans?
Man, they looked useless without Bowers. It's all so disjointed. They got these old retread coaches. I had decently high hopes for them before the season, but they just really look like they don't know what the fuck they're doing, especially on offense. I can't get behind, what's going on over there. As much as Tennessee, as poor as Tennessee has looked, their defense has been a little spry. Cam Ward got that game-winning drive in him last week. Give me Tennessee. I like Tennessee with 4.5 here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think, look, I don't love Tennessee, but I certainly don't love what Vegas is doing. For Survivor, I do think it's an interesting pick in really, really large pools. I think Vegas is an interesting pick there because you'll never take them again, but obviously not without risk. From a betting standpoint, I like the 4.5 points here with Tennessee. I don't think, obviously, most people aren't giving him a whole lot of credit for that win last week.
He still had to go down there and win the fucking game.
You still got to win it. Yeah, I mean, they can hand it to you. Like we said, Carolina, they tried to hand Carolina the game. They weren't able to do it. Arizona, that is. And but
he
Tennessee
threw a couple bullets on that last drive.
He did. Threw an interception, too, on the drive.
On the one before.
So, but yeah, look, you're dealing with a young quarterback. You're going to have some ups and downs there. I like the Titans as well. I don't like what I'm seeing as far as what's going on with that Vegas team on the whole. I agree with you. I thought it was a really good move. I thought Geno coming there was a strong move. I thought
it all made sense, but it's not working.
It's not working out. And this Titan team, they've got to feel good about themselves. They don't really care how they won that game. They got to feel much better about themselves. They're coming into this game. They know they're not a Super Bowl contending team. They're playing loosey-goosey. I think a lot of pressure here on Vegas to win this game. And I don't know right now if I can trust that Vegas locker room. So I like the Titans here plus the 4.5. You have an opinion on the total?
I kind of like it to the over just because it's so low. Like it looks more like a Titans total than it does like a Raiders total.
It's definitely a Titans total. Yeah, I agree with you. I literally had the same thought in my head. I'm like, it's such a low total on a game where, we're not looking at two dominant defenses here. This game could easily get up into the 50s. So I would lean to the over as well. All right. The Packers, biggest line of the week, 14.5. They get Joe Flacco again. So Joe Flacco beat him once. Can he beat him twice here? He's going to be here with the Bengals. 44.5 is the total, 14.5 on the line. What do you think? Joe Flacco and these Bengalis?
He's not finishing this game. He might die back there. Joe Flacco, statue ass behind that fucking offensive line. Oh my God. I don't know what they're thinking. Like Parsons, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. Like I just, dude. He's gonna have like 1 second to throw. He can only throw deep balls. I don't know how the fuck the Bengals are gonna score at all. And the Packers should shred them on offense too. I think I'm laying 14 and going under. I think this is 31-3.
Yeah, this is a bad spot, I think, for the Bengals. I agree with you. I mean, you got a quarterback coming in, obviously doesn't know he's not all that familiar with your playbook. He's got to learn on a short. So
and now Jamar Chase has an illness.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it matters when you're on your ass the entire game. So
wait, statistic time. Jamar Chase has more solo tackles than Micah Parsons this season.
Oh, that's crazy. That's insane. I did not know that. I know there was the wild stat last week, right? He had more.
Where he had the 2 targets and three tackles in the first half.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah, they can't run the ball, this Bengals team, so they can't even at least take some pressure off the passing game by establishing the run. They're not very good at doing that. The quickest way to fix a bad offensive line is to get a mobile quarterback in there, right? And you just got the most immobile quarterback,
dude,
in football.
How do you not? Oh my God, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston are right there. They didn't even call the Giants.
I'd rather get Jameis.
Let Jameis chuck it.
Look at how Dable, who was wrong, by the way, last night with his reaction with the doctors. But look, Wilson came in for like 2 plays. He threw a bounce pass, and I mean, it could have been the receiver's fault, but it's just a coincidence that he comes in and the receiver runs.
Remember when he threw for 500 yards against the Cowboys?
Yeah, well, that just lets you know about the Cowboys. If you have no pass rush, then you're playing 7-on-7, and it's I mean, any of these guys could be really good, but that's not going to be the situation here. And this Green Bay defense is really good.
Oh yeah,
Flacco. Yeah, okay, Flacco beat them with the Browns.
He didn't really beat them. They got that fumble down to the block or whatever it was down to like the 2.
The Browns defense obviously
won that game. Yes.
I mean, the Packers couldn't move the ball. I don't think the Packers are going to have any problem moving the ball against the terrible defense with a team with no offensive line. I mean, this is a recipe for disaster. Can't see anything good happening for Cincinnati. You like this game to go over? It's just a matter of how many points can Green Bay score with the 44.5.
No, I don't think it goes over
You
because
just
I
don't
think
trust
the entire
Cincinnati to score
second half is just going to be fucking Emmanuel Wilson halfback dive like every play.
I think I'm going to lean to the over just because I think maybe we get some garbage scores here from Cincinnati, but I do think Green Bay
will not throw the ball in the second half.
That could be the problem. I'm hoping that they get. Well, the thing is, I'm hoping they get 30. I mean, so we're looking at.
So they get 27-0 at halftime, and then you get a whole lot of Emmanuel Wilson and what's the other fucker's name? Brooks.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but I'm like, you're hoping that the Packers get to 30, which is about what their team total is, right? So if they can get into the 30s, then I think your question is, can Cincinnati score more?
Cincinnati team total under is the seppuku play of the week on this show.
So what is that? 14? What's their total right now? 14.5. It's got to be the team total.
Something. It's 14 and a half, something like that.
Yeah, I don't like that nearly as much as you do, but because I'm going to take this one to go. When you say it out loud though, and you're like, can the Bengals score 17? I'm like, I don't know.
No,
no, I don't know. So yeah, I don't love it, but I'll lean to the over. But yeah, I think this is just going to be an ugly game.
The defense would have to score, or special teams,
which is always well, any defense could score at any time, so you could always get lucky there. All right, let's head down to my neck of the woods here. We got Tampa hosting San Francisco. San Fran coming off that big Thursday night win, and Tampa coming off of a huge win themselves over in Seattle. So they're going to be a 3-point favorite, 47.5. 3 points you're laying at DraftKings, at least you're laying minus 120 if you want to lay that 3. The juice is quite different at some other books, but 47.5 on that total. Do you agree with the drunk who was next to me at the bar last night that Baker Mayfield is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now? And do you like Tampa to cover this one, 3 points against San Francisco?
I don't think he is because, when we have that argument, I always slot Stafford in at 5, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But, dude, I think that we're getting a favorable number here due to the 49ers' very fortuitous victory against the Rams last week, where pretty much we talked about how everything went against Arizona at the end there. The 49ers got that in spades on fucking Thursday. Everything went their way at the end of that game. I do not think they really played that well. They're still just totally beat up. I know Tampa's also beat up, but again, Baker's out there. I think the one thing about Tampa is they're going to be able to fucking score. No matter who's out, no matter what's going on, they're putting points up. I like Tampa. I like the over.
How good is this kid? How good is Egbuka?
Oh my God!
He's forcing me to pronounce his name right because
Emeka Egbuka is he's an animal, dude. He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. Look, the Tampa's had wide receivers, pass catchers now for how many years? Mike Evans is like an afterthought now. He's probably going to be.
Yeah, and Godwin's out this week too, and I don't give a fuck.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, this team's good. They can run the ball. I agree with you.
No Bucky, no Mike Evans, no Godwin. Don't care. No lineman. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, the offensive line banged up. Yeah, I agree with you here. I'm gonna take Tampa. Do you like points in this game?
Over, yeah.
Yeah, you think it's similar? We're looking at something similar to that Seattle.
That Rams, it's similar to the Rams game last week. It's similar to the Tampa game last week.
I agree. I like this one. I like this one to go over. You got to keep liking. Look, I don't know if he's 5, but Baker, you've got to give Baker a lot of credit what he's done. Kind of bounced around the league here. Played for your boys too, right? In Carolina briefly. With Sam Darnold, 2 guys who've had quite the resurrection of their careers. You got to give him credit. But yeah, Baker's done a phenomenal job down.
And then you look at another guy that top pick for that Daniel Jones, same shit.
Yep.
Like fucking, these New York teams churn them out, dude.
Well,
fucking Darnold and Danny.
Jackson Dart's coming. He's starting with a lot. You remember the hype with Danny Dimes, baby. You remember all that hype, and then
they won a playoff game.
Yes. So we'll see. Look, I'm not a Giant fan, but I like what I've seen from that kid with Dart, and maybe he'll be able to Dable, that is, be able to get the most out of Dart, and he won't fall to the way that Jones did.
Me too, Brady. I might have to double this week.
What's that?
He said he already used his seppuku on Scadaboo last night, and I was like, I might have to do that. I might have to double.
All right, let's go to the night game. It's a good one. Kansas City's hosting the Lions. 2.5 point spread. DraftKings, if you like Kansas City, they're laying the 2.5, minus 105 at DraftKings. 52.5 is the total. So this is our highest total of the week, minus 112. KC, they look, I mean, on the whole, if you take their season on the whole, just have not looked great. They beat, that Baltimore game was a key one for them against Lamar. Then they come back last week with a stinker here against Jacksonville. That was a big loss. This is not it's not your dad's Kansas City team right now.
Can you hear my dog vomiting, by the way?
What happened?
Can you hear my dog vomiting?
No, which one? Peaches?
Yeah.
It can only be the bulldog.
Yeah, she just, casually vomiting in the corner.
I was thinking of it yesterday. I saw a video. They were doing like construction in this woman's yard. So they had holes that were like probably like 2.5 feet wide and maybe 2.5 feet deep. And the bulldog just kept jumping into the holes. And then this woman was like, I mean, you know how heavy they are. She'd have to go in the hole and like pick it up and put it out. And then he'd run to the other hole and jump in that one. It was just, I was like,
it reminds me of the first time that we brought Peach to a swimming pool. We were trying because we're moving into this house now that has the pool, and we were trying to like see how she would react, and she immediately just ran up to it and swan dove in it and then sunk, and we had to go dive in after her.
She jumped in she liked it.
No. I mean, I think she didn't know what the fuck was going on, so she just like swan dove into it.
Wow, ballsy. All right, I like it. Well, Peaches don't give a shit. So.
No,
Peaches don't care. It's like what's the?
This is facts right here. The pick six did go 5-1 last night, but Scadaboo's under rushing fucked me.
Yeah, it was Peyton Hillis or Mike Allstott.
Yeah,
is the one. Yeah, but unfortunately, 5-6, no 6-6. All right, but the Lions, I mean, the Lions might be the best team in football. Certainly can make a case for it. And they're getting points here. They're basically telling you, I think 2 points is really what the home field advantage is right now these days. It's actually been, I have the number in front of me. I think it's actually been a little higher, but in actual games so far this year. But about 2 has been the last few seasons, what home field advantage is. And so they're saying these teams are about even, if not Kansas City slightly better than Detroit. I don't know if that's the case. 52.5 on the total. What do you like here? Kansas City at home against Detroit.
Chiefs.
You like the Chiefs?
This is going to be probably my biggest or second biggest bet this week. Will be on Kansas City to win this game. They kind of melted down in the second half last week. They've had some close calls. Ultimately, I think this game will be close going to the end. Think we get a lot of points. So I do like the over 52.5 as well. But I do think that Mahomes will end up making more plays to win this game at the end, and I like Kansas City to win.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which way you were going to go there. I don't love it nearly as much as you do. It sounds like this is going to be your strongest play. But I'm taking Kansas City as well. I'm going to lay the 2.5. I like Mahomes against good teams. Historically has performed really well against teams that are above 500 and strong teams here. I think this line, I hate the old way of handicapping. It's kind of a sucker line. I think this one is kind of sucking you in here for Detroit because of how kind of mediocre Kansas City has looked coming off that loss. I think a lot of people are going to like the Lions.
I think Mahomes has looked very good.
Mahomes has look. It's not quite Lamar Jackson, but I was thinking that last night too when they were talking about. I'm like, boy, what is Mahomes worth to this team? Because you're right. I mean, it's Mahomes. Like Mahomes is making these plays for them. If they don't have him, boy, I don't know what that number is. It's certainly something I should.
The more that he runs, the more I think that their offense will be fine.
Yeah, he's doing what he can. Like when he the reason he hasn't run as much, he's obviously got the ability to do it, is because he just hasn't had the need to do it. But he's needed to kind of scramble a bit and run the ball way more than they really want him to. But he's got that ability. He's always been really good at just being mobile and throwing the ball from, he creates a lot of offense with his arm, using his legs to get to that point. Now he's just sort of had to kind of tuck it and run. I think, when you get Detroit outside of the dome, I think you could take some advantages there with Goff on the road. I like Kansas City. I don't know if it's going to be a very popular pick, but you like it strongly, so that of course gives me a little bit more confidence in my pick. I like it slightly.
Right now, Kansas City. I have the most amount of money on Kansas City out of any bet this week. Right this second.
I mean, that speaks a lot. So I mean, that's really.
The answer to this is yes, though, by the way, just to answer that real quick.
Do you like the total, though? 52.5.
Yeah, I like to go over.
Yeah, I like it over as well. So I'm going to agree. I think if you like Kansas, I think if you like Kansas City, especially, this game goes over. I don't know. I think it winds up being a shootout. I think if the game goes under, it's Kansas City's offense that may be floundering there. I don't know, because look at what Detroit did when they went to Green Bay and got fucking crushed. Yeah, that was week 1. I mean, that was, it
doesn't count because it was week 1.
No.
That's what Bengals fans always tell me about them losing to New England last year.
No, that's not the way I was going with that. I was saying that I was just bringing up the fact that it was week 1.
Right.
No, it's significant, but I think what I was going to say is a lot of people forget that game. We were talking about Green Bay after that game being maybe the best team in the league.
I still think Green Bay is the best team.
You do think Green Bay is the best team?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that very well could be true. I don't disagree with you on that. Like I said, I've got the Colts right now, but I think I've got Green Bay as the number 2. It's really tight, but I think when it's all
Green Bay would definitely be favored over the Colts on a neutral right now.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, the just again, it's statistics, and we've only had 5 games to really look at, and 4 games really with Green Bay, right? So not a huge sample size, but I agree with you. I think Green Bay is probably the best team. It's a wacky year because there's no real clear cut 1-2 great teams. I think all these teams are a little tighter than maybe in years past, certainly over the first 5 weeks. But I'm gonna be with you on this side. I feel a little bit better about it now that you said that's your biggest bet of the week, and I'll take the over as well. I like Kansas City. All right, Atlanta for the Monday night. We got 2 Monday night games this week. Atlanta's hosting Buffalo. The Falcons are getting 4.5. Buffalo coming off that bad loss that we talked about to New England at home. The Falcons 4.5 points, 49.5 on the total. You got to lay 118 to take the over in this game. And who knows? The Falcons have been, they let Carolina shut them out. You've got Buffalo coming off of a bad loss. Do we like that narrative? Like Buffalo bounces back here. What do you think with Atlanta at home?
I think both these teams are going to be able to score. Atlanta's rushing defense not the greatest. Buffalo did not show me anything last week. Atlanta obviously coming off the bye helps significantly. They will have had, a solid 15 days between games here. So I definitely like Atlanta on the spread and the over.
All right, we're going to be partially in agreement. I like Atlanta as well. I'll take that 4.5 at home. I don't think this is going to be as high scoring a game as you think. I think, and I think especially if you like the Atlanta side, I like this game to be a little lower scoring. I think if it gets to the point where we get up into the 50s and the 60s, I think the advantage here at Buffalo. So I like this game to be under. I do think Atlanta keeps it close, if not wins this game. I think I mentioned it earlier. I think much like Philadelphia, I think this Buffalo team is a bit overrated right now. So I think that number is really a number based on perception of Buffalo and not what we've actually seen on the field. I like Atlanta here potentially to win this game. The first one on that Monday night matchup, the 2 matchups that we have on Monday night. And then the last game of the schedule, the Commanders are hosting the Bears. Commanders coming off a cross-country win in Los Angeles last week, 4.5 point favorites. You got 49.5 minus 118 to the over on the total over at DK. You got to lay 115 if you like Washington minus the 4.5 at DraftKings. What do you think here with Commanders off that big win last week?
Honestly, it's a similar situation in terms of, and I've been this way with a lot of the games this week. Chicago's got 15 days off. They've been preparing for the Commanders for 2 weeks. I don't like teams in that situation, especially not in a Monday night game. Commanders going back and forth across the country. The Commanders offense didn't do a whole lot to impress me last week. Daniels did what he typically does, which is avoid mistakes. I don't know that just avoiding mistakes is going to be able to beat the Bears because they're going to be able to score. Their defense is atrocious, sure, but again, Daniels just avoids mistakes. He's more of a game manager than he is a playmaker. So I like the Bears, and I like the under 50.
All right. Well, I think this might be the first or maybe the second game that we're going to be on opposite sides, both sides here. So I'm going to take Washington. I like this game to go over. I definitely don't like this Bear defense. I think we'll see Washington put up a lot of points in this game. So I think the Commanders here win this game by double digits and get this one to the over. I expect kind of a shootout with Williams making more mistakes than Daniels. Like you said, Daniels not a guy who typically makes a lot of mistakes. I think Williams will make the crucial mistakes in this game, but I like both offenses. I'll take this game to the over and give me the Commanders to hold court and win this one at home. All right. That's all of them. That's all the games for this week. Any parting words, JBC? Oh, we got drafted. I always forget, man. We got pick six. Let's not cut.
All right, let's do a fucking pick six.
I forget, man. And I got it staring at me. I got it right in front of me. So let's you have your DraftKings pick six up. Have you looked at anything yet?
I will fire it up right fucking now. Let me share my screen. Oops. All right. Pick six. All right. I could start with this one real easy because I could just see it right in front of me.
Don't take one of my easy ones. Let's see. Okay. No.
Javonte Williams is minus 210 to score a touchdown, and at 0.7, you're getting a lot better than that.
What's the market? 210, you said?
210, yeah.
On that, I'm going Joe Flacco, even in the losing effort, where he's going to be throwing a lot. I'm going under his yardage here of 210.5. Let's go with the left.
Yep. Under on Flacco. Let's see here. Cam Ward over 190.5 passing yards against the Raiders.
Cam Ward. Okay. Let's keep the theme. Give me Sam Darnold's over passing yardage. It is 243.5. I think that's we both like that game to go over. We both like that game kind of back and forth. I like the 243.5 there with Darnold.
And I will go with a correlated Baker Mayfield over 244.5.
Well, that wouldn't be correlated. It's different.
Yeah,
game.
If they shoot it out.
Baker Mayfield's playing a different game. That was last week's game.
Oh, that was last week's game. You're right. Never mind. Taking it away. Daniel Jones under because I think they're going to kill him and they won't throw in the second half.
Daniel Jones under. Okay. All right. What do we got? I got one more from me.
Yep.
Let's go. All right. We'll keep. I'm in a passing yardage.
Yeah, we're just doing passing yards here.
Give me Stafford. I'll take his over the 253.5 against that terrible defense.
So Javonte Williams to score a touchdown. Flacco under 210.5. Cam Ward over 190.5. Sam Darnold over 243.5. Daniel Jones under 240.5. Matthew Stafford over 253.5. $100 wins you at least $17.50.
Bank it.
Picks have been submitted. I will post that on Twitter.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Good luck on all your bets. Let's hit this pick six, and we will see you next week.
Later, guys.